We are neither nutritionists or medical providers. The topics discussed on this show are from our own research and experiences. Please consult your medical provider before attempting anything discussed on this show. Welcome to another episode of
Sjogren Strong. This is Brian.
And this is Lupe.
And this is your podcast discussing how to live an active and healthy lifestyle despite a diagnosis of Sjogren's.
I'm so excited.
Why? Why are you so excited?
Because I did my first live with the arthritis dietitian, Cristina Montoya.
Now, when you say live, where were you live?
Woo! I, on Instagram, she reached out to me and she wanted to do a little interview via Instagram Go Live. I think that's what it's called. And I did it. I was a little bit nervous, but I did it, and I'm glad I did because I had a lot of fun, and I think it's something that I might want to do.
What? You're going to start doing live video?
I know, right? I think that's my thing is like putting myself out there in a video, and you're out there forever, right? But you know what? It was a lot of fun, and I'm among friends, so I'm glad I did it.
You know, it looked like you had a good time. I was in the backyard with you. You know, wanted to hear and see what was going on.
And you started making faces at me and all these gestures and...
that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny for a second, but then I lost my train of thought. But it was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun.
I just think you're taking it way too serious. I need to lighten up a little bit.
So, Cristina, the arthritis dietitian, thank you for reaching out to me. I had a lot of fun, and we become really good friends, and I've learned a lot from you, not only about foods and recipes, but you have a lot of positivity that's contagious, and I love that about you. So I'm so glad we connected. Thank you for having me on, and for those of you who weren't able to join us live, if you go to her Instagram, the links will be in the show notes. You can watch it or listen to it here.
We hope you enjoyed this recording.
Hello, everyone. Now I'm going to invite my guest. There she is. I got it. Hi, sorry I'm late. No, that's okay. I was figuring things out here.
I thought I was going to get a notification, so I went on your page and I saw that you were live. So, hi.
Perfect. Hi, how are you? I'm just going to turn this up a little bit. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you.
I know, in person, right?
Yeah, it's so great. Thank you so much for joining me. And I think I feel like I know you forever, Lupe. I don't know. You're just something about us.
We just clicked. We really did. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm so happy to have you here. So let's get this party started. I'm Cristina Montoya. I'm the arthritis dietitian. I'm also a Sjogren syndrome warrior for the past 30 years. Yes, I had it when I was a kid. A long time ago. I also have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia and many other things to go on. But I'm really passionate about nutrition, a lifestyle without guilt, really, no guilt. Really, I don't want to feel guilty about anything to know with our conditions. And also I'm passionate a little bit about cannabis. So you're going to learn more about me, about that soon. But today, it's all about Lupe Castañeda.
Hi, everybody.
So it's
I'm so
great
glad to be here.
Yeah. Hola desde Chile. Yay! Wow. Chile. Amazing. So now let's start. Lupe, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I am originally from Mexico, Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Oh,
Tapatíos, ojos.
yeah.
I've been here in California since I was 2, so I've basically raised here in California. So my Sjogren's journey, I was diagnosed in 2008. But I feel that I had symptoms way before that, probably since I was a little girl. Because now that I think about it, everything that I feel now, I felt back then. But growing pains, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
But again, I was diagnosed in 2008, and when I was first diagnosed, and they told me you have Sjogren's, I'm like, what is Sjogren's? And the first words out of my mouth were, am I going to die?
Yeah.
Because what is Sjogren's? I've never heard of it. And they said, no, you're not going to die. So I go home and I start Googling Sjogren's. And there wasn't much information out there. I was diagnosed about 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't find a lot of information back then. And I didn't know about the foundation back then either. So I went to Facebook and I started joining groups, right? But I found that a lot of the groups, to me, they weren't really positive. They were all negative, and Sjogren's has taken this and Sjogren's has taken that from me. And it got me really depressed to the point where I would cry a lot, and it messes with your mental health, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I told Brian, my husband, he's so supportive. Thank you, Brian, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I want to share my story with everybody, so to make people feel less alone. And I said, I want to do that via a podcast. So he helped me set that up, and then we created the Facebook pages and the Instagram pages and all of that. And fast forward to now, and here we are. And I've met so many wonderful people. At first, I didn't know. I was afraid to share my story, right? I was afraid to put myself out there, but I'm glad that I did it because I've connected with so many wonderful people, made a lot of really good friends, and the community, we support each other so well. So,
and that's what I think it attracted me to you, because I've been on that kind of journey to accept Sjogren's. I didn't know where I was diagnosed in Colombia, really. And it was like, yeah, you have Sjogren's, and so what?
That's it. Go away, bye, right? They don't tell you anything.
Nothing. And I said, well, you have rheumatoid arthritis. That's more important. Basically, that's really the message. And I still was like, it's not, right? You're controlling my pain, but there are other symptoms that are not being controlled by the therapies that you're giving me for rheumatoid arthritis. So there's gotta be more to this Sjogren's syndrome than just the dry eyes and dry mouth. So, and that's what I wanted to ask you, like, Lupe. So you said it took you a long time to maybe figure that out. And so, did it start with dry eyes or dry mouth? How did it start with you?
Well, how it started with me, I had a cough, a really dry cough that I have right now. Actually, I don't have it all the time, but it started with dry cough. And I would go to the doctor and they would give me, cough syrup with codeine, right? I wasn't taking it. I was like, what is that going to do, right? Cough syrup with codeine. Okay. And then my dry eyes got really bad to the point where I felt like I had sand in them. They hurt. They were very sensitive to light. They just felt grainy, like I always had something in them. And I used to wear contacts. I don't wear contacts anymore, but I think dry eyes were the worst. And then dry cough. I felt my skin really dry. Nothing would give me relief from my dry skin. Nothing would give me relief from anything. And I went to a lot of doctors, right? And you don't have anything. It's all phantom pain. It's your imagination. That's how they make you feel, right? It's all in your imagination. And I went to a doctor for my yearly, and she was walking out the door, and I said, you know what? I've been experiencing leg pain, like in my bone. And that's the only way I could describe it to her. I feel it in my bones. And she's like, oh, okay. Little tablet. She wrote something. They called me a couple of days later and they said, you need to go see a rheumatologist, an internal medicine doctor. And I'm like, I feel fine. I'm not going to go. For 6 months, I didn't call. They called me back and they said, you need to go now. So she scared me. So I went. The internal medicine doctors, they told me to go to a rheumatologist. So luckily, I fell under the care of the most wonderful rheumatologist I've ever met. My very first one that he passed. Dr. Reba. And he taught me a lot. He told me what to eat, what not to eat. He taught me everything that I know right now to manage my Sjogren's. So it took several years, but luckily only one rheumatologist, and he was able to help me. And I feel he brought me back to life, basically. So I'm very thankful for that.
Wow, that's a powerful word, huh?
Yeah, he brought me back to life, and not a lot of people have reached out to me and said that the doctors, you have Sjogren's, okay, bye, and that's it. They don't tell them anything. So I try to help as many people as possible.
Oh, I think that's beautiful. I actually remember once when I was working at a hospital, a small hospital, and there was this patient, and one of the diagnoses was Sjogren syndrome. And I went to say hi to her, and she was like so surprised. I was like, oh my God, you know this? And I was understanding. I changed her diet, like the texture, so it was easier for her to eat because she was having difficulty swallowing. Nobody knew anything about Sjogren syndrome there.
Mm-hmm.
It was completely, and they thought she was a little kind of nuts. So, she's being a little bit difficult. And so I agree with Hippie Abuela when she says that.
Hi, Hippie Abuela. Hi, Christy. Hi,
Mary. So being dismissed is really the worst feeling. Making not only that women already, we have that stigma that apparently we complain a lot, right? So we already from the get-go, it's like, oh, now she's going to come and complain.
She's already a complainer.
Yeah, she's already. So they get that stigma, which is really frustrating because then they don't get to go deeper into the issue, right? What is causing all this stress and it's affecting our lives? Because that's another thing I wanted to ask you, Lupe, like how has Sjogren's affected your life? How did that change your life?
In so many ways. From the way that I eat, from what I can eat, because a lot of foods pre my diagnosis, I would choke on, and I didn't know what is that. Am I going to die choking? Because that's what I thought, right? I used to feel like I was choking so much. But from what I eat to what I do on the daily, like, a lot of people, if you listen or follow me, my podcast, you know that I love being outdoors and hiking. And, sometimes instead of starting hiking at 8, we hike at 5 to beat the heat because I have heat intolerance. I can't take the heat. It gets me really tired and sleepy and fatigued, and I don't feel like I have energy to do anything. So that's one of the big ones, but it has affected in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I relate to you, especially so many years when you just feel so dry, and especially when it comes to food, because I know there's this wave now, there shouldn't be any diet culture, shouldn't be. But honestly, when it comes to Sjogren's, I definitely see that you do need to modify your diet, right? So at least to make it comfortable. And also with Sjogren is very interesting. And some of the articles that I read from my rheumatologist, the one who diagnosed me in Colombia, that's Dr. Manuel Anaja.
You still get Manuel Anaja, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, he's awesome. And he even sent me a book from Colombia that he wrote.
That's so good.
And one of the things that he mentioned in his book is that people with Sjogren's actually develops a hypersensitivity to foods over time because it's all interconnected with the digestive system, which we can definitely talk another day about that. But I truly believe that there is some way to that when modify the nutrition and the lifestyle, it really helps. It helps us to cope with it, right? Not that it's going to cure it, but it helps us to cope with them. So your wonderful husband, I think he dropped in and said how much he loves you. And my God. So how has Sjogren's affected your husband and life with your husband?
Well, let's see. He loves eating potatoes and red meat and bacon and all that. You know what? Diet has changed a lot. We don't do a lot of the things that we used to love. Like we used to love going to the desert and spending a lot of time at the beach, in the sun. And just in so many ways, it has affected him. And you know what? He's been so supportive. He changes everything. He helps me so much. I'm very thankful for him.
Oh my goodness, your eyes are sparkling.
You know what? A lot of shogis out there, they're not so lucky, and I'm thankful for him because he has taken the time to do research and he's gone to support meetings with me, and so he understands it, and he takes the time because he cares. Not that other husbands don't care, but I feel like they don't take the time to, so they don't understand. They just think, oh, you're just being lazy. Get up, start doing this and that. It's not being lazy. It's debilitating fatigue that you don't have energy to do anything.
That's so true.
Yeah, you know what? Let me share something with you. I remember when Brian and we were first dating, and we were on the freeway, on the 405, going to the beach or somewhere. And he was talking to me. I was like, oh my God, stop talking. I don't have energy to talk. I didn't have the energy to talk. And I'm like, how is that possible? How people don't understand how you don't have the energy to talk, but you don't, right?
Lupe, that's so true. And I had done that to my husband so many times. It's like,
oh my God, don't talk to me. It's not that I don't want to talk, but I don't have energy to respond, and
it's,
but changing my diet has helped me so much, and exercising has helped me so much. And a lot of people, they don't understand. A lot of shogis, you're too tired to exercise or to walk or to stretch or to do something, right? But stretching out a little bit, starting a little bit at a time, it helps so much with energy. Really does.
Absolutely. And it's I think there's been actually evidence saying that it helps to reduce the inflammation, right? Just a gentle movement, stretching. You don't have to go overboard. Just do what you can. Just move. And I think that's so important. And when I talking and I said with your husband, I think that's so important because in 2016, I actually attended the Sjogren's Foundation's conference, the patients conference with my husband, and he attended, and it was like an eye opener to him. He was always been supported regardless, but this was the first time he actually sat down and heard about Sjogren's. And I think that's so important that the people around you really understands. Not only that they see you sick, but they understand and they support you. And then he cooks for me wonderfully. Like he loves cooking for me.
That's good. You're lucky. He cooks for me too.
I take it.
Yeah. You cook it, I eat it.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
So now let's go through the podcast. So you told us a little bit about why you created the podcast, right? You wanted to connect with people but a more positive way. Because just like you, I was so depressed, and I was like, is this how it's going to be life? Like, I can't be.
I don't want to be depressed all the time. I don't want to concentrate on what I can't do, right? If I can't do this today, maybe I can do it tomorrow with a few lifestyle changes. So it's very important. When people say, well, I don't want to go on a diet. Well, it's not a diet, really. It's a lifestyle change. You have to be consistent with it in order to feel better. But I definitely wanted to put a positive spin on it. And it's not always positive, right? Sometimes you really have down days. You kind of just isolate yourself from everybody and everything. But on your good days, try to do something good with your good days. Whatever it is that you love doing, do that. Whatever it is, reading a book, going for a walk, going to your friends, whatever it is, just when you're feeling good, try to do something positive with it. Put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, and I think I also acknowledge in those days that you're not feeling that well. You said that it's okay to feel that because it is hard to see people like our own age, right? Or maybe even like a little older than us with so much energy. And it's like, I'm like lying on my couch. And I said, you know what? It's time for you. Let your body rest. Don't be so hard on yourself. And it took me a long time to learn that. And I think it's especially when you're newly diagnosed, when you feel like just like the world just kind of come down to you and there's just no way out.
Yes.
Right?
Right. So I think more importantly, you have to accept it. You have to come to the realization that you're kind of, after you get a diagnosis and you know what's wrong, because in the beginning you don't know for years, you have to accept the new you, your limitations, what you're able to do, what you can't do. And after you accept it and you come to terms with it, then I think you'll be okay. You can't do what you used to do. You can't. So just accept it. And you'll be okay.
Accept the new you.
Yes.
And focus on what you can do and not on what you cannot do, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And do good things with your good days. They're not all bad. It's good for your mental health, right? Because it's important. Mental health is important.
No, absolutely.
And mental health is not all bad. A lot of people, it has a stigma, right? But it's not bad. You just have to come to terms with who you are now, and you'll be okay.
So that's great. So I want to acknowledge this girl. I believe she's a teenager, and I met her at one of the support groups here in London, Ontario. And I thought when I met her, and I said, like, oh my God, in a way, I was kind of happy to see now they're diagnosing children, because they did not diagnose me. Like, it took them 13 years to finally come to realize. And they actually realized because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and they put all the kind of the puzzle together and said, oh, and you also have Sjogren syndrome. But to actually recognize that, a child or a teenager to see, well, you have Sjogren's, I think we're moving on the right direction, right? So at least to identify it, to acknowledge that it's not that you're being lazy because you're a teenager, you're expected to have all this energy. And then I remember my mom was like, but Chris, go play with the kids. I said, Mom, I can't. I'd rather read a book. I didn't understand what was going on with me. And I think, I don't know if I could at this point be that kind of supportive of children or parents with children with Sjogren's, because I think it's just a completely different feeling. And so I wanted to acknowledge this girl. I think she's amazing. And the fact that she calls herself pediatric Sjogren's.
I'm familiar with her. Yes. Yes.
So
I haven't talked to her, but I'm familiar with her. We follow each other. Yes.
Yeah. So you see, because I thought, so you're doing a great job, Lupe. And that's why I wanted to talk to you.
I appreciate it so much. I've made so many good friends. A lot of my old friends, they don't really understand, right, why I don't want to do this, or I can't do this late in the evening. I don't have energy late in the evening, I'm kind of a morning person, even though in the morning I wake up stiff like a board and I don't have energy to do anything. But as the day progresses, I feel better. But towards the end of the day, I'm just done. I don't have energy. And a lot of people don't understand, well, you just want to hang out with me. No, I do want to hang out with you. I just, let's hang out in the morning, But, yeah.
That's so true. Like, have you lost friends because of Sjogren's?
Yes, actually, that's where I was going. Very fast. I have lost friends because of Sjogren's, but I feel like maybe they weren't really my friends, right? Because the friends that have stuck around, I consider them really true friends, and maybe I have a handful, right? But because of that, and because of the podcast, and all this page, I have met some really cool, just Sjogren's friends. I'm calling Sjogren's friends because that's how we met. We all have Sjogren's. And I mean, I've met a lot of wonderful people and made a lot of wonderful connections of friends, and we understand each other. That's important.
And I think that's where you find that connection. And somehow my page is kind of gearing towards that. A lot of Sjogren's comes to me, and I said, I don't know, should I just kind of change the name and just put it like the Sjogren's dietitian? I don't know.
No, I mean, because you help everybody, people with arthritis, with Sjogren's, so many autoimmunes, even some people follow me that don't have Sjogren's. They just have other autoimmunes, but they're all the autoimmunes, they're kind of interconnected, right? We have the same symptoms.
And I think that's something that we really need to differentiate, right? Because then some people have the primary Sjogren syndrome, which is the one that appears with no other associated conditions, right? Autoimmune conditions. And it seems like you and I have that, right? Because I had it since I was a kid. And then others have secondary Sjogren syndrome, which is like after they have been diagnosed with other autoimmune diseases, which is mostly common with rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, scleroderma, all those conditions. So that seems that the primary Sjogren syndrome appears to be a little bit more severe, right? Because it's but it's still, regardless, I think it's the impact that it has in your quality of life. You feel it.
I feel like once you've been diagnosed with one autoimmune, there more are going to follow, right? Because I've met a lot of people that have 5, 8 autoimmunes. For me, I was diagnosed with Sjogren's about 10, 11 years ago. And most recently, about a year and a half ago, they told me I had Hashimoto's. And so now they say, well, now that you've been diagnosed with a second autoimmune, Sjogren's was primary, but now it's secondary. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why does it become secondary? Why is it secondary Sjogren's? But that's
how is that going to be? It's not going to be.
It doesn't make sense. But I when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, it didn't really impact me. I probably had it for a long time. It was just as diagnosed. I haven't changed my medication. I still follow my same routine. So it hasn't really changed anything for me. So it's the same.
Hopefully it stays the same, right? We don't want any more surprises.
The same. And I don't want any more autoimmunes because, Sjogren's, Lupe's, arthritis. I have a form of arthritis too. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I feel it, and just more to come, and just prepare yourself. I hope not, but
like you said, I will just take one day at a time, right? We really cannot predict the future, and then just take the good days, make the best out of them, right? And keep moving forward the best we can, right?
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Yes.
So Lupe, now that I wanted to ask you, how do you explain Sjogren's to others?
I say Sjogren's is kind of hard to explain, right? Especially if people don't have it, they don't understand it. So how do you explain it? I say Sjogren's is an autoimmune that attacks your moisture-producing glands, your moisture-producing glands. Sorry, I have a highlighter. I talk with my hands. Okay. Moisture-producing glands. What are they? They produce saliva. They produce tears, sweat. It's everything. Brian's making faces at me over here. He's distracting me. But it affects everything. But it's not only dry eyes and dry mouth. It's joint pain. It's extreme fatigue. It's debilitating fatigue. You don't have energy to do anything. It's brain fog. It affects every part of your life, and that's how I explain it. A lot of people don't understand it. My sisters, for example, they don't really understand it because when they see me. I'm normal. Nothing's wrong with me. So what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? You're normal. I don't see anything wrong. But it's like diabetes, right? People, you don't see it, but it's hard to explain, but that's the best way that I explain it to them.
Yeah, I completely understand. Sometimes when I try to explain it, it's easier to explain this, right? My hands. Yes. Right? So, okay. So they're deformed. Oh yeah, you have arthritis. And we try to explain Sjogren's. It gets, those extra layers are really hard to explain.
Right.
And I said, but you know what? You can't make me sad because I can't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what the weird thing is that I don't produce tears, but I can cry when I get emotional. And I know that a lot of Shogis can't, but they're like, well, what are you talking about? You don't produce tears. I've seen you cry. Well, I can cry because I get emotional. That they come from the same place, I'm sure, but it's something else that causes those tears, right? But I wake up with dry eyes. I can't eat certain foods. Sometimes I go to my parents' house and sorry, I can't eat that. I can't swallow it. They don't understand that. Oh, you're just on a diet. No, I'm not just on a diet. I can't eat it anymore. Spicy food, I can't tolerate it because you have blisters in your mouth, you have sores in your mouth. So,
and And I think that's it's just so hard to constantly be explaining that, right? That
Right.
maybe sometimes it's easier just to say, "Yeah, I'm on a diet. Just leave me alone."
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't want to eat it. A few pounds, COVID pounds. So yes.
So just go with it. But it is true. I think as a teenager, when you're not trying, you can't explain what's happening. And I think I experienced that. I had a dry cough, and my mom was like, "Stop coughing." So I don't know what I'm coughing, right? And then I couldn't swallow. I was always with water, like my mouth is extremely dry. And then my mom is like, "But you gotta eat all the food, eat the rice, eat the crackers." Like,
You can't. You don't have
just
any
can't.
saliva to moisten it. It's hard to
Mhm.
swallow. You can't do it. You can't.
Exactly. But yeah, we can go and I know we're going to try this. Eventually, we're going to talk more about nutrition, right? But today, I just wanted to talk about you, and you're going to share your little wisdom here, which you have. So now I always try to end my little chats. I call this like my warriors connections, where we really talk as we try to connect as like with something that we have in common, and it's Sjogrens, right? And I think we have made connections in spite of Sjogrens, and great connections. And so now I would like you to share with us like 3 tips, like to start living Sjogren strong.
The 3 tips that work for me to live Sjogren strong. I love the name, right? It's perfect.
It's perfect.
I think I kind of covered them, but and I meant to do them in order, but sorry. So I think very important, manage your expectations, right? Like I said, you mentally prepare. You're a new person. You can't do the things that you used to do, especially now that you know what's causing whatever it is that you can't do. Manage your expectations. That's number 1. Number 2 is diet. Diet is very important. For me, I know a lot of people are different, but for me, diet is important. I've cut out dairy and for the most part meat, but I don't really eat meat, but red meat, junk food, processed food, alcohol, sugar, not eating those things has really helped. And exercise. Exercise, I think, is very important. Sounds like it won't work, but I promise you it will. And you said 3, but I'm going to add 4. Follow the dietitian. Because you know what? I've learned so much from your recipes, and I'm not much of a cook. Okay, I don't lie about that. But when I see recipes, I'm like, Brian, look, and I show him. And that's how I found you, because your recipes are so awesome and they help you feel better.
Oh, so, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for those tips. I think that's so important. Like manage your expectations.
Yes.
Super key, right? And
it's important.
Nutrition. It's so important just to really become and acknowledge that what you can do. And if you cannot do it, that's okay. That's okay. You can't. So don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, celebrate your small wins. Don't concentrate on, I can't do that. Okay, you can't do that, but you can do this. You got out of bed, I don't know, you walked a few steps, maybe you wanted to vacuum, you did that. The small wins, celebrate the small wins. Pat yourself on the back for doing that, because maybe a couple of days ago you weren't able to do that. So it's very important.
I think that's amazing. And in terms of nutrition, you know what? I am with you in the sense that even the recipes that I do share, they are recipes that are easy to swallow. They're easy to make and they're easy to swallow. That's why I don't post that like a very elaborate, like let's say a salad with croutons, even if they're like really fresh, because I can't swallow them. That's the reality. That's the reality really on my page when I post recipes. They're really catered to like they're being anti-inflammatory, but at the same time, so soothing for people like us with Sjogrens that can swallow it. Because there's no point for me to create this spectacular recipe and I can't even eat it.
Right. And sometimes, you know what? I don't know if this has affected a lot of people, but taste and smell.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really taste a lot of foods. And smell. I can't really smell anymore. I love walking in the mornings because I can smell the grass. But other than that, I can't really smell anymore, but I don't concentrate on that. I can't smell, that's just normal. But I like going because I can smell the grass. Wow, people take that for granted.
That is so true. So true. And I think that comes with it. And especially when you're having that flare up, is that like food just doesn't taste good. It just doesn't taste like anything. It's like when you're having a flu, right? It's like,
Right. It's like, why do I want to eat it? It doesn't taste like anything. I'll save it for something that you can taste, So,
I thought that was me.
No. Recently I live right across the street from a park, and I've been walking in the morning because I walk from home now. I work from home now. I'm sorry. And like every 2 weeks, the gardeners are out there and they're cutting the grass, and I'm like, I can smell it. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize. Sometimes you smell certain smell and you didn't realize that you haven't been able to smell it or to taste something for a long time, Sometimes your senses come back. And so I'm thankful for that.
And you know what, even when it comes to food, because in Colombia, actually the food is quite bland, right? So it's not really as spicy, like delicious as Mexican food. It's tasty, but it really needs that kind of little spice up there.
Yeah.
But then recently I started, even when I posted that recipe on the Mayan hot chocolate, when it put like a chili pepper, and it's like, oh my God, it just like this like party in my mouth. And I said, oh my God, I can taste it. And I taste the flavors. And I think that eventually just a little bit of that. And I know sometimes because it's so dry, spicy food can also kind of affect you, like you don't tolerate as much. But I think just a little bit, it actually helps there has some anti-inflammatory effects, that those chili peppers. And so it's really interesting because it kind of spice up a little bit your meals, but it's also giving you some anti-inflammatory properties. So but I'm glad to hear that. I honestly felt that I was just me.
No.
And when it comes to exercise, I'm with you. I try I don't push myself. I don't feel like I have to be the perfect like figure there, but I love my Zumba. And I do it from home.
You got legs.
So I love it. So I think it's about that, finding what you enjoy, right? And just go with it.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. Don't push yourself. What you're comfortable with, because when I first started walking, I was pushing myself too much. I was walking in the morning, during my breaks, during my lunch, a little bit after work. I was doing like 8-10 miles, which is way too much. I don't recommend it. But I was just getting about a week after doing that, I was just really tired, really fatigued. Oh my God, my legs hurt. What's causing that? Hello, you've been pushing yourself too much. Don't push yourself too much. Just a leisurely stroll. Get out there, do a little bit, what you can. Yeah, because then you don't want to push yourself too much, where you say, oh, walking or doing this makes me hurt or sore the next day. So don't push yourself. Just build up to it a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. And sometimes you also kind of have to gauge that, is it that pain that is come from the Sjogren's, or is it just like that muscle pain that comes from the exercise? Allow yourself, like that kind of 24-hour rest, just to kind of identify that is really from the exercise, and then build up a little bit on that. It's so true. I think that's so great. So, Lupe, we can talk forever.
I know we can.
So I know that you have to go back to that lovely Brian, because oh my goodness. Ay, ay, ay. Amor, amor, amor. So I am so happy that we had a chance to chat about Sjogren's, and living with Sjogren's, like living like Sjogren strong. And is it Sjogren strong? Or did I say it wrong?
No, Sjogren strong, yes.
I keep messing it up.
No, that's fine. Sjogren strong. I don't know. I just thought that was a good name, because be strong, Don't let it bring you down. Sometimes it does, but no, be stronger with it. Be stronger than it.
Thank you so much, Chris, for coming here. And then thank you, Lupe. But I think, Lupe, what do you think? Should we do one on nutrition? I think we should really tackle that nutrition part when it comes to the smell, the taste, the swallowing, the digestive issues. I think we are unique. When I compare to other autoimmune conditions, I think us with Sjogren's are a little bit more unique when it comes to nutrition and digestion.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, let's
Yeah.
do it. And you know what? Now that I've done
So-
my first live, I don't know. I kind of want to do it on my platform too.
Look at you. So maybe we
Yeah.
can exchange then. You see,
Um,
it was easy peasy, right?
I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, oh my God, people are going to be watching. But you know what? I'm among friends, right? We all understand each other. So
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I like to create this space. I love connecting with others, and it was so great. So now we can find Lupe. Where can we find you?
you can go on sjogrenstrong.com and find me there. Also, I'm on every platform, YouTube, excuse me, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have created a Facebook group. It's called Living Sjogren Strong. And so if you're a member, if you follow me on Sjogren Strong on Facebook, you can find the group Living Sjogren Strong by going on that page. And it's a wonderful community, and we're just there to help each other. Mostly positive. I mean, some people, they share what they need help with, but that's what it's all about, right?
Mhm.
So yes.
Oh, perfect, Lupe. And I'm so glad to have you here. So thank you everyone for participating. If you have any questions, let us know. I would love also ideas and what things you would like to know so I can blog on or do some of these interviews.
Yes.
But thank you so much. And I hope I'm going to post the live video. I hope I don't lose it, but I'm going to post it. So for future, if anyone wants to kind of see our conversations, then you're welcome to see us and chat with us and continue the conversation.
You got it.
Okay.
I'm excited. Thank you for having me on. I want to say hi to everybody that's watching live. You know what? I haven't been paying attention to the comments because I didn't want to get nervous. I was just looking at
I know.
But you know what? Everybody here, thank you so much. Chippy Abuela, El Sjogren's Bajo la Capa, Mary. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so great. I think the comments I said Sjogren is a twin sister of Lupe's, and that's so true. And thank you so much for the support, and we'll continue this. And I think Lupe, you have given me that inspiration to continue advocating for Sjogren.
That's what it's all about. You know what? A lot of people have reached out to me. They want to do the same. So yes, please, whatever we can do to help, we're here to support each other.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lupe. So I will post this video. Stay tuned, and thank you so much.
Until
Bye,
next
Lupe.
time, sip constantly
Yes.
and stay hydrated. That's how I end it.
Exactly. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Lupe. Take care. Bye.
We really hope you enjoyed that. Again, her links are in the show notes. If you don't follow her, go follow her because she's got great recipes and she's putting out really good content. Until next time, sip constantly and stay hydrated.